So you just made something on your CNC table and you want it to last forever. What are you gonna do? You could paint it, but if you're anything like me, I tend to get runs and inconsistencies because I'm not that great at painting. I could also get it powder coated, but that involves driving it somewhere, dropping it off, and that's not something I'm looking to do. If only there was a way I could powder coat something at home. Well, lucky for you, there are options out there, and I got to chat with Chad from Mancrafting up at the Makers Camp, and he showed me a simple DIY at-home powder coating setup that even I could do. So let's go check it out. All right, I'm here with Chad up at the Makers Camp, and we're doing powder coating. Chad, do you want to tell people a little bit about yourself and how you got into this?
Yeah, my name's Chad, and I'm with the channel Mancrafting. I started that back in about 2016. I had a Yeti cup and I didn't want to lose it, so I started looking for ways to customize it. I figured out powder coating. I started powder coating the cups. Today we're just doing ornaments. They're just memorabilia that people can take home from the event, and we're just trying to demystify powder coating, show people how easy it is. So basically you want to start with a clean piece of metal, whatever you're going to be powder coating. So we're going to wipe it off. We're just getting the oils off of it so that the powder coating will stick, and then just dab that off so it's dry.
So powder coating is used a lot in the welding world. If you're manufacturing parts and you want it to be outside, or you want to like heavy duty paint to be on it, normal paint might not handle most of the stuff that we're trying to do with it.
Okay, so the way powder coating works is you're putting a charge on the, usually like a polyester resin dust. You're putting a charge on it so that it'll stick to the metal. Kind of like, you know, back when you were a kid and you took a balloon and you stuck it to the wall. Yeah. Same kind of principle. So we're going to allow the powder to stick to this. Then we're going to take it to the oven. It's going to be in the oven for about 10 minutes until all that powder melts together. And when you're done, you have a very durable surface. If you scratch paint, it's going to come off. It's going to tear up. This is much more durable. It's literally a layer of plastic over the whole surface. While it might fade over time, just like any paint would, it's gonna hold up. It's not gonna break down the same way paint does. First thing you're gonna do, you've got a charging button. So this is what's gonna allow this to have a charge on the dust. The powder is in this jar right here. Air's coming up through. We gotta have dry air, that's kind of important. This is a pressure regulator, so we don't put it out too heavy. And all you're gonna do is you're gonna push the button. You don't wanna do swaths like you do with painting. You just wanna focus right on the item.
Just spray.
Yep.
Just straight on.
Push the button and go.
All right.
Keep working it around. Come back a little bit. You're putting a little bit too much air on it.
Okay.
There you go. Much better. Okay, you take your finger off the button for a second. I'm going to spin it around. And you can see how it, even when you didn't do it directly, it's still attached to the metal.
Yeah. So just keep hitting it?
Yep, that's it.
All right.
Just make sure it's covered. See anything missed?
No, it looks pretty covered to me.
All right, so into the oven for 10 minutes. If you rub that, you've just messed up the finish.
It's just like dye, you know?
Yep, that's it.
All right.
Okay.
And do you need a special oven, or can you use any kind of oven?
For a hobbyist, you know, somebody who's not doing it professionally, this is fine.
Yeah. I
have a 220 oven that somebody was getting rid of, and we keep it here at Maker Camp. I have a charbroil, it's a 110. So as long as it can get up to the 400 degrees and hold that part at 400 degrees for the allotted time, you're good to go. You know, every powder can have a different temperature. We're using pretty much for those small ornaments, they're not going to be going through the rigors of a part that might be on a car.
Yeah.
So, you know, we're being a little bit flexible on that so that we can finish up everything in a timely fashion.
Oh yeah. I talked to a guy over in Britain. He made one out of a filing cabinet.
Yeah.
Right? So he had like the heat on the bottom, and then he just could open it up and put stuff in the top.
Yeah.
Powder coating, a lot of people think it's way more complicated. Like, that was not that complicated.
No, that was quick. And it's a lot more flexible than, like, you know, I know guys that do this professionally, and they're like, you know, to the second, to the minute, you know, to the specific
it's gotta
temperature.
be exactly here.
Yeah. They're really, really rigorous about it. And you know, if I'm paying somebody to do it for me, I want that rigor. I want that rigor. But if I'm doing something for myself, I'm not going to be quite as
Hardcore.
Hardcore on it. So.
So the equipment here, like where can you get this type of stuff?
This is a dual voltage and this is a single voltage, and they're both from Eastwood. Pretty much everybody that is into cars, they're gonna know Eastwood.
Okay.
So this one I think retails for about $150. This one's about $125. They go on sale occasionally, $125.99. And then I'm just using a little Harbor Freight quiet compressor. You can barely hear it running. And I'm running all 3 guns off of that one compressor, and it's been great all weekend. We've run hundreds of pieces all weekend, no problems.
Shout out to Harbor Freight.
And Harbor Freight actually sells a gun too, and it's okay. Yeah. I like this one because it pushes up, but the Harbor Freight drops down.
Sweet. Well, we're gonna be back in 10 minutes to see how it turned out.
Sounds great.
All right, it's game time. We've baked it. It's time to pull it out. Let's see what we did.
We have a winner.
We have a winner. So after it gets baked, it flattens out, so it no longer looks like powder, it looks like a nice gloss. So what do you look for when you pull it out? Like what shows you a good powder coat, what shows you not a good powder coat?
Generally speaking, as long as it's a smooth finish, like this happens to be a gloss, but it could have been a flat or it could have been a wrinkle coat. There's a lot of different variations to get different effects. This, just a flat out blue, shiny gloss, and I think it looks pretty good. I don't see any defects.
No defects.
You know, sometimes like when you're doing something bigger like this where they grinded it, you're gonna notice like all the grind marks. But this is pretty straightforward. I mean, this is like the ideal thing to powder coat.
Yeah, if you're gonna try, go for something like this. I appreciate you teaching me, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
And we encourage you to try it. Like, try to make it.
Absolutely.
It's not hard,
it's
right?
not hard. I mean, you saw the whole process just now. Very easy.
Where can people find your work at?
Mancrafting on all socials. TikTok, Instagram, YouTube, Twitter. Thanks.
Oh, thank you. Thanks for tuning into the channel, everyone, and thank you, Chad, for running us through DIY powder coating. I was very fascinated, and I can't wait to try it here. I hope that you learned something, because I sure did, and if there's something you're curious about, let us know, and we'll try to make a video on it. Until next time, see you out there.